So, Jesus is a man on a mission to reveal God to us. He doesn't want to be swayed from his mission, even by his mother. But like any good Jewish boy in this situation, he still steps in to help out, as Mary clearly knew from verse 5 that he would do. Now, did Mary know what Jesus would do? I doubt it. Most likely, she just thought he would use the wisdom and resourcefulness he'd shown time and again to solve the problem for her. Undoubtedly, he'd done that many times. She wouldn't have expected this. And what did he do? He turned water into wine. That claim is clear, isn't it, in verse 9? The master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. And John's testifying to a miracle. Now, some of us might struggle with the idea that Jesus could perform miracles, but that at least is John's clear claim for what happened as an eyewitness of these events. Now, at this point, we're supposed to notice both the quantity and the quality of the wine. John tells us there are 6 stone water jars there for the rites of purification. He tells us how much water they hold, and when they fill these up, there's about 800 wine bottles worth. And the question actually that we should be asking, which is a bit hidden in our English translation, is when Jesus tells them to draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet, did he mean draw it out from the jars or from the well? If it's the water jars, then the focus is on the specific amount of wine. That's how we traditionally read it, isn't it? There are 800 bottles of wine. That's a lot of wine. But the language of the Greek is not so clear-cut. The verb to draw out water is much more likely to refer to the well. That's how it would normally be used. And that would imply that the water that filled the jars up had sort of done away with water for purification. It fulfilled it, it filled it up. And now Jesus has turned the water in the well to wine. And that would imply an even larger amount potentially, certainly a large quantity. In either case, Jesus is deliberately using the jars for purification, suggesting that the rites of external washing for cleansing are finished. He's doing something much more profound than that, as we'll see later. And he's clearly making a lot of wine. As for the quality, well, that point is much clearer. The wine is taken to the master of the banquets. We're explicitly told that he doesn't know where it comes from, nor did he know that they'd even run out. All he's got to go on is the taste of this wine. And Jesus' wine is very good, isn't it? It is, in fact, far better than the best of the wine which the bridegroom had provided. We know this because the master takes the groom aside at his wedding reception in order to comment on the point, which seems a bit inappropriate, really, doesn't it? Unless the wine that he's just tasted is very much better. And notice what the master says. Perhaps he's the master because he hosts a lot of weddings. He's perhaps got a big hall and he's in charge of lots of services. And so he knows that which he speaks about. He says, everyone brings out the choice wine first and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. And the reason everybody does it is because it makes sense, doesn't it? You serve the best wine at the point when people are most likely to notice the taste, the quality. Then you save money by providing the less good wine later. It's what everybody does. But you, he says, have saved the best until now. Except of course he hasn't. The good and the less good wine that the groom provided are both gone. Only Jesus' wine is left. Jesus turns water into a very large quantity of very good wine. He gets the groom out of trouble and impresses the master of the feast with his largesse. But see, if we stop there, we make quite a serious mistake, don't we? What, after all, are we to make of Jesus? What would the waiters have seen? Jesus has just turned water into wine for free. Now, Jesus is only a miracle worker, impressive as that is. We're going to want him to do miracles, aren't we? You can imagine the waiters suggesting to the master of the feast that Jesus be invited to every party they host. Just solves problems if they run out of things. What about for us? If what we see is Jesus, the dispenser of miraculous blessings, which of course he can do, then we've missed the point here, haven't we? And so if we stop simply at Jesus the miracle worker, then we're going to fail to see him as he intends for us to see him, as he has revealed himself. And that is a dangerous place to be, because if we see Jesus wrongly, we're going to treat Jesus wrongly, aren't we? Well, before we look really hard at the sign that Jesus has done and what it teaches us about him truly, we're going to stop and reflect on the compassion of Jesus for this family member and for his mother, and for us. Jesus, strong and kind. Let's sing together.